Well, as every government faces challenges with big data, cloud services, geospatial challenges, how to make a difference in their local government, I'd like to think that we have mastered most of that in the form of an outstanding infrastructure, which is the enabler of all the good things that we do. We're no stranger to big data and open government and transparency, being a national leader in that area a few years ago. We've got a new initiative there on open government, so we're hammering away at that. We're going to do some outstanding things in Washington, D.C. with open government, and we're going to do it with industry and with our residents. And of course, in cloud services, we have a cloud services strategy that works very well for the nation's capital, that both gives us an opportunity as an agency to be in the middle of cloud deployment, at the same time freeing up resources for agencies to go get the technology that they need from the vendors who we know will work well with us. And that those things work kind of hand in hand in terms of your cloud strategy, because it does impact open data, data governance, and the extent to which you keep that data within your enterprise with an effective cloud strategy. The data's not out there on the internet, and you have an opportunity to do both of those things well if you lay it out and plan it well. Best thing about working in city government, you can't work in Washington, D.C. without recognizing the importance of the role of technology in the nation's capital. So in that regard, it's a privilege, it's an honor, it's a pleasure to serve the residents of the district, the businesses of the district. The federal government is also one of our tenants in the city. So that's very satisfying, and it brings out the best in you. And having grown up in the Washington area, there's an extra motivation for me to try to get that right. But everywhere I go across this country, I meet people who are all part of the American neighborhood. We have got some outstanding people in this country. And every time I meet somebody from a different state, whether here at NASCIO or at another conference, they're people I feel like I'm working for. So I get to straddle both the state and have a national role in trying to get things right in the nation's capital. And those are the things that I carry with me every day when I go to work. True public service with a servant's heart, try to get it right for the country, recognizing what's at stake. So that's what I really enjoy most about it. The other piece of what I enjoy most, I have to say, is working in the technology field and taking what I know about technology and applying that to solutions that work for Washington, D.C. and could be valuable to the nation in the event of some sort of a crisis. The toughest things are also being in Washington, where everything can be somewhat political. Everybody wants everything now. There's a lot of high visibility, but I don't think you want to be the quarterback of an important team like that without recognizing that that just comes with the job. So you just accept it, and you keep your head down, you be the best public servant that you can be, and do the best that you can. Wow, that's like picking a favorite child. That's a tough one, but I would say this. Technologists know technology, we work with it all the time. One of the things I've done at Octo as the director of that agency is trying to put a public face on the agency. And I've been doing that by taking certain resources within my agency and applying them toward broadband adoption and technology inclusion, what most people call digital divide. And so I'm taking what is not typically a public-facing agency that has a relationship with the public and giving the agency an opportunity to demonstrate that we understand how we can impact our public and we can make a difference in society in meaningful ways, not just for the sake of doing it. Actually recognizing what parts of our city where broadband adoption is low, and maybe there we might be able to help with a little bit of education and help people adopt broadband and maybe drive broadband adoption in lower parts of the city, because these are like survival and life skills. And so I think we're in an era where technologists are much more civic-minded than they ever were before. And I started looking at it that way about 4 years ago, just about 4 years ago when I stepped into this role. And that is one that's very near and dear to my heart, because I feel like it's something that technologists need to do that we really haven't done historically. Well, I think we have obviously the explosion in mobile devices. I think we have a massive explosion in the development of new analytical tools and big data. I think you have different players and new entrants to the market who are making a lot of inroads in the large analytical data software environment. That's big. I think we see a lot of everything is geo-enabled. I think that's something that I know our agency's been at the forefront of. The geospatial team within my agency is critical to the city. A lot of city services rely on it, including all the emergency services. So I think we're okay in that area. I think cloud services, there's still a conversation going on like there was 4 years ago, but we've seen a lot more maturity in cloud. I think we're beginning to press cloud vendors for the types of things city governments need and technology leaders need from them So I think those are things that are advancing, but I still hear some of the same things being discussed. Big data, cloud, and what doesn't get talked about probably a lot is infrastructure. And I think the folks who have a good infrastructure and manage it well, I like to say this a lot, we can dream big dreams, and we have an outstanding infrastructure in Washington, D.C., and we're dreaming very big dreams with it. We're doing very interesting things with it. For the next 6 months for me, it's about making sure that my agency is ready for a transition to a new administration, because the existing administration, Mayor Vincent Gray, will no longer be the mayor come January. It's been a pleasure to work for that man and his administration, but I will be focusing most of my attention in making sure that we have a smooth transition and that the Washington, D.C. doesn't skip a beat when there's a transition of power.